Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Which Way 101. Today we are going to be going over the creature of the night, the vampires, the wanderers of the night, said to be looking for their next meal. Are vampires villains, or are these creatures victims from becoming a vampire? Let's explore and find out together. Today there are so many books, movies, and TV shows about vampires, so I figured we would start at the beginning. The first records of vampires stories, they come from old tales in Mesopotamia, about 4,000 to 6,000 years ago. That was as far back as I could find. In these particular stories, they tell of a spirit who could inhabit a human body, causing those humans to crave blood as sustenance. That story and many others were told during a time in human history that electricity was not available, and telling stories and fantasy tales was not only normal, but an art form to captivate one's listeners. Even with the times those stories were told, having those stories recorded for others to read later was not a common practice. But one must also consider how many written works have been lost throughout time. For example, the Scrolls of Alexandria. During this time, 4,000 to 6,000 years ago, most people didn't know how to read, which makes writing out of the question for a lot of people. More often than not, the people who wanted things recorded were either rich and noble, or royal, or part of a religious order. For me, the first vampire book I ever read is by Anne Rice, a book called Queen of the Damned, which honestly sticks pretty close to these tales from Mesopotamia. If you haven't read the book and do not want it to be spoiled, leave now or continue at the risk of the book being a little spoiled. In the book, we read about the twins with red hair and in Egypt before it was Egypt. This place was called Kemet, which means black land. In this story, we follow as we are told about a new queen from distant lands who married the king of Kemet. Because the royal blood always went through the female line during this time, from lack of knowing who the father of the child was. The new queen, Akasha, brought about changes. After some time had passed, the queen asked for an audience with the red-haired twins. This had a snowball effect. The queen was not satisfied with the answer she got from the twins. Long story short, the red-haired twins had been tracked down by the royal guard due to the trickery that had been caused by the spirit Amal. Unfortunately, this led to the sexual and very public assault of the twins, leading Amal to somehow bond with the queen Akasha, leading to the first vampire, which also led to more vampires because the bonding of Amal to the queen Akasha also led to the absolute need to drink human blood for sustenance. Were the actions of Amal justified for the actions of Queen Akasha? Let me know down in the comments below. The book was published September 12, 1988, while the movie was released February 22, 2002. However, the root of vampire books that truly sparked the minds of millions is Bram Stoker. His book, Dracula, which was published in 1897. This book led to the movie Nosferatus in 1922. It was also this cinematic production that led to the idea that sunlight will unalive vampires. In 1931, Universal Pictures decided to adapt the book into a motion picture of the same name, Dracula. The Spanish version, Dracula, was also released in 1931, with some thinking this is the better version of the movie. This was followed by the sequel in 1936, Dracula's Daughter, who believed killing her father would break the vampire curse. From this point on, people desired more cinematic productions and books about vampires. It is due to this that different vampires can do different things. We can for sure say that all vampires need blood to live, have more strength and speed than humans. And vampires have extremely heightened senses, including but not limited to sight, smell, and even hearing, able to heal from wounds quickly, usually considered immortals. In general, most vampires can shapeshift, either into a creature, usually a bat or a wolf, and sometimes into mist. A lot of vampires are gifted with hypnosis or the power to control the minds of people even able to make some people forget what they have seen. In some of the stories about vampires, the ability to fly is a trait that a lot of series and productions have incorporated into the lure of vampire traits. All of these traits tend to be paired with an almost inhumane beauty, ethereal beauty, if one could call it that. Now, with all of this being said, Bram Stoker got the idea of vampires from Vlad the Impaler. Born in 1431 in Romania, upon his father's death, Vlad took over the throne of Wachia. The Ottoman Empire was a very real threat to Vlad's kingdom, leading to many battles, and Vlad's cruelty of impaling his enemies. During Vlad's reign, a letter was sent to a Matthias Corvinus, indicating that Vlad impaled 23,844 people in one night. And to be clear, Matthias Corvinus is of no relation to the Underworld series. The Corvinus bloodline is strictly a Hollywood thing. During 1560, Countess Elizabeth Bathory was born in the Kingdom of Hungary, which is current-day Slovakia. Between 1602 and 1604, an investigation was started due to the rumors that surrounded the countess. Elizabeth Bathory was born August 7th, 1560. This countess and 4 of her servants were accused of unaliving hundreds of young noble women who had been sent to the countess to finish their education before these nobles were to get married. Now, if we stop and take a pause, this woman was not just accused of torturing and unaliving hundreds of young women. The bigger rumor about the Countess Bathory started after she passed away in 1614. The rumor was the Countess Bathory bathed in the blood of virgins to retain her youthful looks and beauty. Now, I must point out that this particular rumor started after her death and is not considered to have any truth. Now, some people claim that this is where Bram Stoker got the idea for his book Dracula, but nothing was found within Mr. Stoker's notes about the Countess of Bathory having sparked any part of the creative process of writing Dracula. Personally, I do not know if vampires are real, but for every story discovered, there is either good imagination, a grain of truth within the stories that pass down through time, or something akin to any of those. Today, if you asked if a vampire was real or just something that was told to entertain during a time in human history, the answer would most likely be a mixture of people being scared and seeking answers during a time when science was not how it is today. Science is still not 100% accurate today, but is way more accurate than when these stories first came into fruition. So at the end of the day, my question is, are these creatures victims, villains, or just really great productions from people who wrote or passed on these stories? Let me know down in the comments below. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you all learned something and I hope you all enjoyed it. I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.